Hey people, it's Nayas talking. Now, this is inspired by a comment I got a few years ago on a video I did about Crispus Attucks. Now, this was a white guy. Now, in the video, I just sat down and re-listened to it, and I talked about the Crispus Attucks, and then I talked a lot about black people who have served in the US military and how America has stabbed them in the back repeatedly and how it was bad for blacks to serve. And this guy, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was raging. I clicked on this video expecting to learn about Crispus Attucks, and you're talking about blacks in the military, blah, 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 or whatever. And he was like, and the thing is, whatever he was saying, I knew what was actually going on. Because, first off, I had the whole thinking of Minister Japp, like, did I send you this video intending for you to listen to it? I clearly addressed all the people as my target audience is black. It's not for you. And secondly, he's raging about it. He didn't say anything that I said was false. He didn't say anything I said was false. No. It just hurt his America, I love America, America's the greatest. He didn't like the fact that I was talking about how his beloved America and his beloved U.S. Army had taken the loyalty and devotion of black people and stabbed them in the back repeatedly, and how I was telling people not to get involved in the U.S. military and that it was just basically a scam. Like, even the things they promise, like these things like veterans benefits and healthcare, they could just take them away at any point. I mean, I remember watching a video where even the education, there was some guy who served and he did 6 months and 180 days. But the thing is, you had to do 181. The only way you could do 181 was to fail the course and have to do another day extra. Like, that's the scam they're running. But all this relates to something, this whole debate about critical race theory and people talking about it encourages hatred of white people and black people saying, well, we need it taught at schools. And this guy was going on to this video and constantly complaining about me. This is just a random individual making a video discussing my thoughts on a historical thing, and he was like raging, oh, I didn't want this or that. Look, go to like a mainstream history channel if you want something that will just kiss your ass kiss America's ass and say it's the greatest country in the world without criticism. But, this is how much he's raging about it. He's not saying any of it's false. So this whole critical race theory, so that's the same thing. They're not saying any of this information is false. They're not saying that there isn't racism in the system. It's not saying that white supremacy doesn't exist. It's not saying that, the police are racist, the prison system is racist, the prison industrial complex doesn't exist. No, it's not. It's just don't talk about it. And my thing about this is directed to all the blacks who talk about this. Well, this is why I named the video Begging for Acceptance. You're asking people to give up their privileged position, so that to make them feel bad and to put them in a moral position where they have to surrender some of their power. Why on earth would they do that? Would you do that to, let's say it was like something more relatable on the street level, like Crips and the Bloods. Would one of them admit to murdering their rivals and say, yeah, we did it, we're going to go to the police and confess and serve time? No, what kind of nonsense are you on? Of course they're not going to do that. So why are they going to do that? And this whole thing about asking about, I've said time and time again, black folks need to educate their own children. Going back as far as Malcolm X, what did he famously say? Only a fool would let his enemy educate his children. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Most black people seem to be fools. They complain about Karen 24/7, calling the cops, trying to cause them problems. Then come Monday morning, they'll hand over their children to Karen to be traumatized, bullied, and have the cops called on them. I've heard stories from, Harvard Superboy, talking about how white teachers would make the opportunity to cause problems for him. And we've heard these stories many times. It's one of the reasons why I refuse to just watch these traumatic videos of black children being bullied in school, because I've made my position clear. They shouldn't be in these schools anymore, because it's just a Venus flytrap. It looks safe, and then it's just a place where they can then traumatize these children. There's a whole phrase that keeps going put out. It's easier to raise proper children than it is to fix damaged adults. But nobody will take that thing seriously. I mean, everyone keeps talking, how are we going to fund the school? Listen, I still remember when R. Kelly was first done on charges, and $600,000 was raised before GoFundMe canceled it towards paying for his legal defense. Oh, we can get $600,000 for a pervert like R. Kelly, but we can't find no money to put these children in a safe institution where they're loved and protected. Man, get out of here. And the thing is, this is one of the things that we have to understand. You know, we keep talking about in the modern history, as in progression. Progression is linear. Black people have not progressed. If you think about history and take a critical eye, if you think about, say, black history from the end of slavery, the antebellum South, Jim Crow, black people went forward. I mean, okay, there was a huge loss of freedom, but despite all those limitations, they built towns, they had huge number of patents, there was all these businesses and things that were done in spite of all the limitations. And then integration happened and everybody gave up on those things. They moved out of their black-only towns to live in a white neighborhood. They stopped going to black-owned buses so they could go right on the white bus. You know, Claude Anderson talked about this, that his family owned a black-owned bus firm, which then went out of business because everyone went to the white one. And this happened many, many times. That's one of the reasons, well, one of why so many black communities became impoverished in the 70s. Yeah, part of it was all the recession and the US government economic war. But another part was just complete economic abandonment. You know, you're going over to spend money in the white community. And why is Mr. Smith going to go and take his dollars that you gave him and reinvest it back in the community? You know? And then we get to, this is a point that Bunker TV talked about. He said the Black Power movement was about, you know what, you don't like us? Well, then to hell with you. We have black power. You know, black love, we have our afros. We're going to do things our way. We're going to make our music. You know, the early beginnings of hip hop, starting with like, first off, Muhammad Ali doing his little rhymes before trash talking, then DJ Kool Herc and all the rapping in the Bronx. And that was black empowerment. But then people started giving it up because for the fool's gold of white acceptance, of becoming part of the society. And black people need to understand they are not part of American society. They are victims of American society. The whole, you know, how are you, I've never understood this. How can you take pride in singing a national anthem that has to be censored because it refers to killing you? Like, what do you call it? How is that not a red flag? Pardon the pun. You know, they didn't think, okay, let's just go back to the drawing board. Let's get an anthem that's inclusive of everybody and acceptable. Just edit out the bits where we talk about killing people and just keep the same thing. That's basically America, you know, the same philosophy. And my point goes back to this, the whole begging for acceptance. As long as black people have this mentality of going to white people for their solutions, they will always go nowhere. Asking for critical race theory in schools, okay, you get a critical race theory. And if this whole critical race theory will be so watered down, it will become basically nothing. It will become like affirmative action. You know, affirmative action, white women were included in it as a minority. So the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action were not black people, but white women. So the thing is, going to white society for solutions is like asking for the person who caused the problem to fix the problem. Why would he? You know, he has no incentive to do so. Anyway, this has gone on long enough, but I'm going to give the link to the whole Crispus Attucks thing just so people can hear it in its full context when everyone's finished. Peace.